Okay. Hello, I'm here. Happy New Year. Tommy, can you hear me? Maybe we need a second or so. But I'm super excited to be here. And I hope that you are all having a wonderful day. And hopefully, some of you will pop in and say hello. That would be so sweet and wicked awesome. I was going to go live at 4, but I decided that I want to. Whoops. Oh, there we go. We are live. Awesome. And I can hear myself. Perfect. I was going to go live at 4, but I decided that I want to go back to my 6 o'clock. So I might do either Tuesdays at 6 or Thursdays at 6. It depends on what I'm working on or what I will be releasing. So let's start with the supplies. And I've got a little bit of everything, and literally it's just stuff that I have in my stash. Thank you, my sweet husband. Thank you so much. And of course, we're going to need this handy dandy plumber's tape. It's worn and quite old. Alcohol inks have been my go-to lately. White embossing powder, and of course the applicators for the embossing, for the alcohol inks, the felt strips. If you happen to have this little die cut machine by Sissix, that would be great. If not, you can use a sunflower. Not sunflower. Well, you could use sunflower, but you can use snowflake, paper punch. It's completely up to you. I'm just trying to encourage you to use what you have, and that's what I'm trying to use. Now, this is something that I don't know if it's ever, I don't even know if it's available, but I've had this for over 20 years. I've got a bunch of these. And if someone is interested in some of these shapes, let me know, and I would be more than happy to gift some to you so that you can play along. But you can also use cereal box or chipboard. And if you don't have that, this is something that I've had for a very long time, and I don't want the glare to affect the camera, but this is really old. This is probably like 20 years old, and I've got a couple of these. These are also pieces that you can use as well for what we're going to be making in just a second. And I'm actually going to take maybe one of these, I'm not sure, and play with it. But nevertheless, keep in mind to just look at what you have so that you don't have to say, oh my gosh, I've got to buy this or that. No. The next thing that you're going to need are some stamps, the Versamark pad, a snowflake stencil if you are able to grab it, some eyelets, and scissors, and of course, super important, protect your space. And I have the bigger craft sheet by Ranger, but this is called tosta like toast, and tostada, like toast your bread. And I'm using this on my surface just to protect it. Now, what we're going to do next is we're going to take, let's see, let's use this shape right here. And what you want to do, I'm just going to move this aside and flip this over. You want to make sure, and actually this shape might be just a tad. I was asking my husband if he had wider tape. He's a general contractor, and he said he might have it. But if, I don't know, if your hubby has this around or what have you, but keep that in mind. So what I want to do, I think I want to go to this one. I'm going to bring it down a shape. But I mean, I could double layer it if I wanted to. So what I want to do is peel and add to the top of the shape. And these are great embellishments for your journal. I mean, back in the day, I would make jewelry from these and would show them when I did scrapbooking and rubber stamping shows with ISC, and it was a ton of fun to make these into dangles, earrings, but I'm making these for embellishments that I want to use on a couple of journals that I'll be sharing a bit more with y'all this month. So it is a little sticky, but I just keep that protector right next to me so that I can just put it right on, like so. And what you're going to do is fold it to the back, just like that. And then grab a credit card or a gift card that you've recycled and kind of flatten. And I'm just using the credit card to flatten the tape a little bit more. Okay, just like so. Now, here comes the fun part. My theme for January is going to be kind of like the bluish, little bit of butterscotch and maybe some lettuce. These are all oldie Adirondack colors that I just want to use because I have it in my stash. Now I'm lightly going to use, I'm using Stonewash, and it's really light, and I'm doing that on purpose, okay? And now I want to use Sailboat Blue. I wish my friend Debbie was on here because these are her favorite colors. And I absolutely love this effect. And I start kind of like around because I don't want to muddy it too much, but I do want to go in possibly with butterscotch. I think I do. But I want to do it ever so lightly. I'm going to stop for a minute so that I can show the effect that you are able to achieve without giving you too much of a glare. And then, that's one way. I'm going to go in with the blue, just like so. Now, the other thing that you can do now is you're going to grab, I'm going to show you two different ways, I think. You're going to grab a stencil, and I want to grab this stencil. I don't want it to have too much of a glare. I've had this for a while in my stash. And what you want to do is grab a little applicator of choice, your Versamark. So that's Max in the background, our older Roddy. And just dab, lay your stencil right on top, and dab, like so. You want to press firmly when you're dabbing the Versamark, okay? And then, move this aside a little bit. You're going to grab your white embossing powder of choice. This one is a little thicker than, I don't know what I did with my fine embossing powder. white embossing powder. And I'm going to grab a tool here. Just be careful you don't press too hard, because you will make a dentation on the, oh, well, there we go. So you see that one right there. And then I'm going to put this back, because knowing me, I'll probably make a big mess and spill this. And now we're going to heat set it. Hello to the lovely 6 folks that are watching. ¿Cómo estás? Happy New Year. Feliz Año Nuevo. And this is almost. There we go. There we go. So this is the effect that you achieve. I'm trying to not give it that glare, but that is so cool. And then, oh, thank you, Susan. Thank you to you as well. I hope you've had an awesome day, and everyone else too. It is. It's so much fun. It is so much fun. Now, what you can do here too is, and I'll show you later a couple that I made, like I said, a long time ago, is what I added to it, just to give you some ideas. So that's, like I said, you could, the first way that you could do it is just applying the alcohol inks. The second option is to use your Versamark with the stencil. You can also use, by the way, if you don't have stencils, you can use your Versamark pen and doodle and do whatever you want, and then apply. You just want to make sure that your embossing powder is, hey, Happy New Year, Jill. I'm so happy that you finally made it. How cool. I'm delighted that you're all here. So that's another way that you can also add, you know, the element, if you will, if you don't have the actual stencil. Now, the other way that you can do this, and this one is my favorite. You're going to take your strip of, and again, you can use, if you don't have the die cut machine or the mini or a larger one, use a paper puncher. And my advice would be to apply the painter's tape onto your cardstock of choice. I'm using black because it's not going to be seen, but it gives the tape that heft and thickness in order to use your paper puncher. Okay, so this next technique is the last one. You're going to do what I just showed you, and then you're going to grab your die cut of choice, and of course I want to use a snowflake. And I always like to do a little sandwich. I like to put another little piece of thin copy paper on top so that it really goes through those two pieces. And it might, let me see, will it go through? Here we go, yep. Perfect. And I'm using a mirror that I got, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 years ago when the Dollar Tree was actually $1. And that's what I use as the suction cup for this little die cut machine by Sizzix. And then you're going to remove, and hopefully it went through. Yes. Perfect. So you're going to, where's my prick tool? Here we go. I need this to take this out, like so. And then what I want to do is remove the center. And I'm going to use the same applicator because I'm using the same color. And I'm going to dab it right on to that snowflake. And I know that, you know, some people will say, well, I don't have plumber's tape. You can use aluminum foil, but it's not the same. I've tried it, and it's a little persnickety to work with, just so that you know. And now this, I'm going to give it a second. It dries really fast. I love that effect. Look how pretty that is. Again, you can use all the colors that you'd like, of course. Now, this will go pretty right here as an added embellishment. You can add a little bead or a little charm, or what, not charm, but those little those dimensional dots that are kind of shiny. You can put that right there if you'd like. So that's pretty much the kind of like the ways that I want to share with you. This is an oldie but a goodie that I made many years ago, and it's a face of a lady sideways, and then I stamped and added some words. And again, I did cover the back. Whoops, sorry for that. The next one here is, you can add, I did the same. I stamped another lady. I added some cheesecloth and a stamped word, and then I used this jewelry because I can, you know, attach that to a journal if I'd like. And then here's another one that I made where I added those little, I forget what these are called, but then you can also just add a bead chain and then add some other die cut words. And then this one I made into it's a paper clip, if you will. It's there. And I used a large tab. And then these are little, I'm calling them journal tabs, but they're actually guitar picks. And that's it, my friends. I hope this will encourage you to look at your house things a little differently, whether it's your aluminum foil, whether it's your, you know, plumber's tape. And I believe my husband said it does come in 2.5 and 3 inches. But before I leave, I want to thank you for hanging out with me. I want to keep it short because I know it's New Year's Day and you probably have things that you want to do with your loved ones. I have to cook dinner because it's 6:19 Eastern time. But thank you, sweet crafty friends, for hanging out with me and for the support and the love that